This week's parsha is Parshas Mishpatim, and this has been my custom to do, I think, the last couple of years, is to examine the parsha. The parsha is full of mitzvos. Mitzvos are the obligations that we have, that the Torah prescribes for us, that we have to follow certain laws, and situational laws, and certain laws of bein adam lechavero, of how a man should act with another man. But they always say that one has to look at these laws on a deeper level. They're meant on two levels. Number one is we have to practice these laws, and if we have such a situation, we have to follow them. Number two is that we have to understand that each and every law in Parshas Mishpatim is teaching us something about our relationship with Hashem. Each mitzvah that we put into practice is an illumination of our interaction with Hashem. It's the way that we actualize our relationship. And therefore, when we're actualizing the relationship, there has to be a pronounced part of that relationship that's actually being actualized. So, instead of talking in riddles, I'll let you know what I mean. Rashi, the first Rashi in this week's parsha, Ve'ela hamishpatim asher tosim lifnei. I got the right parsha, didn't I?
Yeah, you got it. You're right on.
These are the laws that you shall put in front of them. It says Rashi, Kol makom shenamar eila pasal es harishonim. If it would say these are the laws, eila without a vav, so then it's a whole new idea. Don't connect it to the previous idea. But if it says ve'ela mishpatim, what's the vav? Vav is and what?
Connecting.
So it's connecting. Mosif al rishonim. What is the connection between the previous parsha and our parsha? Ma harishonim misinai. Just like we know, spent some time last week in the Aseres Hadibros, the 10 Commandments that were given at Sinai. So just like those, everybody here knows were given at Sinai, so too, Ma Rishonim Misinai af elu misinai. Just like those were from Sinai, so also these, just in case you were wondering, were also from Sinai. What does that mean? What does that mean? So the Or Gedal Yos is a beautiful word, Gedal Yeshor. He says, all of these mishpatim, it's not that just like those Aseres Hadibros were written by Sinai, so too these mishpatim, these laws were given at Sinai. But rather, these laws have within them the Aseres Hashva, the Eser Hadibros, excuse me. The Eser Hadibros, Aseres Hadibros, the 10 Commandments. That in these laws, she'elu hadvarim him hisgalus hadibros betoch hahester. Just like the Aseres Hadibros are laws which they're clear. I am Hashem your God. You cannot have any other God. These laws are the application of those Aseres Hadibros in the world. So you want to know how to practice Anochi Hashem Elokecha? You want to know how to practice Lo Yeh Lecha Elokim Acherim? By doing these mitzvahs. But it's greater than that. Is these mitzvahs actually bring out those ideas of the Aseres Hadibros. So it's not just like those 10 Commandments were on Har Sinai, so too these were also on Har Sinai. But these Mishpatim are those Aseres Hadibros in a different format. In the format of go take these laws and practice them in the world so that you may illuminate the world with those Aseres Hadibros. Let's try to understand what that means. That's the shir tonight.
Is it just these Mishpatim, or is it
all the Mishpatim? All the Mishpatim.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's the
All
only-
of the mitzvahs in the Torah, absolutely.
In the Torah. So all
Absolutely.
613.
Right.
So
but
what you're saying is that the Seres Dibros are the base for everything.
correct.
Yeah.
But these mishpatim are an embodiment of the Aseres HaDibros. And we'll see what that means. Actually, the Ramban doesn't say it so clearly. Some of the commentaries on the Ramban say this is what the Ramban meant. Actually, before I get to the Ramban. Eila mishpatim asher tasim lifneihem. These are the laws which you should put in front of them. And then we're going to go to the laws of Eved Ivri, etc. Rav Shamshon Pincus comments that many people think that when it comes to Shabbos, when it comes to kashrus, when it comes to other family laws, you have to ask the rabbi, whatever you don't know, you have to ask the rabbi a question. Right? You don't claim to know everything, so you have to ask the rabbi, somebody who knows a little bit more. And you want to get married, you got to ask a rabbi to get you married, right? So you can't, I don't know how to get myself married, right? You got to ask the rabbi. But when it comes to dinei mamonos, when it comes to monetary matters, people don't ask the rabbi.
Why? They don't want to know the
What do you mean? No, it's not that. No, it's not the pshat. Everybody wants to do the right thing. Why don't people feel like that? Because, what do you mean? I know what the right thing to do is. I know how to be honest. Right? I know. What do you mean? My seichel, my mind tells me that this is the right thing to do. And instead of clarifying it with the rabbi, who understands that, we just do our own thing. We become our own posek, rabbi. Right? True? It's true. Rav Shamshon says we have to understand, just like all other aspects in the Torah, we need guidance for. Similarly, in order to get an understanding of righteousness, an understanding of being straight, an understanding of how to act and how to deal with our money, we have to get guidance. If we choose to get guidance, if we look to the Torah, we look to our rabbis, then our daily dealings will be truthful. And if we don't, it will be completely full of fraud. Okay? Simple as that. The pasuk in Dvarim says, Ki mishpat le'elokim hu. Mishpat, the laws, belong to Hashem. They belong to Hashem. What does that mean? We also know, it says, we say this in the Halakos, it says, Chukav u'mishpatav liYisrael. His laws and his mishpatim were given to the Yisrael. What do you see over here? That the laws belong to Hashem and they were given to Yisrael. It's not, well, the reason why I have to pay is because it's logical and because it makes sense. No. The laws are godly and they were given to us to follow. And if we realize that they're godly and we work within that framework, that the laws belong to Hashem, and we have to be mavakesh, we have to seek out their meaning and understand what Hashem wants from us in the regular monetary dealings, then we'll be okay. But we have to realize, it says, Chukav mishpatav liYisrael, lo asachein l'chol goy. Hashem didn't give it to any other nations. So, even though they have their justice systems, their courts, and their lawyers, and their professionals, that's not how our dealings have to be. That's not the kav ha'emes. That's not the straight way. That's the crooked way. If you want to know what Hashem wants, you have to ask Hashem. I want to tell you something that I want to tell you. Lifneihem, Rashi says, Lifneihem, Heila Mishpatim asher tasim lifneihem, V'lo lifnei goyim. You're not allowed to bring your people have arguments, right? I feel that I'm right, you feel you're right. That happens. There's no problem with that. There's no issue. You have a fight, okay. You owe me $1,000. No, I don't. You didn't do the service for me. No, fine. So where do you go? Eila Mishpatim asher tasim lifneihem, v'lo lifnei goyim. You can't bring these disputes to Gentiles. Even if you know that their judgment is the exact same way as a Jewish court would judge it, you're still not allowed to go to them. Somebody who brings somebody who brings the din of Yisrael in front of the Gentile court, Mechalel es Hashem, he is desecrating the name of God. Umiyakir Shem Avodah Zarah lahashvicha, and he is honoring the name of the Avodah Zarah. That's their system, the Avodah Zarah. People think that they'll go to court because in court that's where they'll get a straight answer. Okay? That's where justice will be served. No. Ki mishpat le'elokim hu. It's a chilul Hashem for anybody to think that they can go to court.
Whoa.
We are not allowed to go to court. The only way a Jewish person is allowed to go to a court is if you get special permission from the Beis Din.
That's it.
And if you don't get special permission from the Beis Din, you're not allowed to go to court. There are people that are shomrei Torah and mitzvahs that keep the 613 commandments, but they don't keep this commandment. They to go to court. Why not? The judge will judge. It'll be the right thing. They have the right intentions. Justice can't be served in the Beis Din, only in the court. That's where the right judgment will be passed. Such an attitude, that's usher. It's chilul Hashem. It's chilul Hashem. We have to know that. There's no dinei mominus, monetary matters are. We have to ask the rabbis what to do in monetary matters, not the courts. Another example. Sometimes a person walks into a store, let's say for example, and knocks over something or damages something by accident. You're just looking at it and you damage it. Put it back.
Oh yes.
Put it back. Is that right? Is that correct?
No.
I don't know. Ask your local rabbi. Maybe it is correct. A person who's working, takes a phone call, he's working for somebody else, takes a personal phone call.
Stealing.
Right? Time. So what's correct, what's not correct? And, there's certainly a certain allowance, but how much? What? Am I abusing it? Dinei mominus. We have to know. We have to be meticulous. And when a person is meticulous, it's nikar upon him. It's apparent. The people that are honest, it's apparent. You can see it right on their face. They're a pleasure to deal with. We have to be honest people. The Navi says, "Ani Hashem ohev mishpat staka." Hashem loves people that deal properly. Ani Hashem ohev mishpat. I love mishpat. I love proper judgment. What does the pasuk say in Yirmiyah? Tzion, Yerushalayim, b'mishpat tipader, will be redeemed eventually with mishpat, with righteous judgment, with righteous dealings. People take monetary matters seriously. People consult. Don't take the matter into your own hand, even if you have the best of intentions. Don't go to the non-Jewish court. Ask the questions that you need to ask. Don't abuse situations. That's the first lesson from this week's parsha. Kisikne eved ivri sheishonim ya'avod. When you go out and you buy a Jewish slave, he shall work for you for 6 years. Uvashvius yetze l'chavshi chinam, and then in the 7th year he'll go out free. Im begapo yavo begapo yetze. If he came in unmarried, he will go out unmarried. In Baal Ishahu, if he came in a married man, v'yatza ishtayimai, then his wife goes out with him.
What about the kids? You're in slavery?
Im adonav yitain lo ishta v'yoldu lo banim ovanos. If he came in single, but his master gave him a wife and he had children, ha'ishav yiladat yiladana. They don't belong to him. They belong to the master. V'hu yetze v'gapo, and he goes out on his own. But if Omar ha'eved ahavti es adoni es ishti v'esvanai v'lo yetze echadshi, if he says, I love my wife and my children, I don't want to go out, v'gisho adonav Elohim, v'gisho aladelos ala mezuzah, v'ratza adonav es asno b'martzeh b'avad olam. Then the master brings him to Beis Din, and they put his ear on the door, and they drill it, and then he works until forever, which means Lo'olam means till Yovel, 50 years, or maximum of 50 years.
When the 50th year comes.
When the 50th year comes. The Ramban, which we wanted to mention before, says that this Eved Ivri is the first commandment mentioned in Parshas Mishpatim, which is the parsha of all the commandments. And the commandment of Eved Ivri is parallel to
Anochi Hashem
Elokecha. I am Hashem your God, which is the first one of the Aseret HaDibros. Remember, all of these laws are going to be the illumination of the Aseret HaDibros. So the Ramban says that it's neged Anochi Hashem Elokecha. What does it say? Anochi Hashem Elokecha asher hotzeicha me'eretz Mitzrayim mibeis avadim. I am Hashem your God. I am the only God. Hashem Elokecha Anochi asher hotzeicha me'eretz Mitzrayim, which I took you out from the land of Egypt mibeis avadim. The Eved Ivri is an interesting concept. The Eved Ivri works for 6 years, and in the 7th year he goes for free. He goes out free. And if he doesn't want to, then he goes out the 50th year, the Yovel year. This concept seems very similar to a different mishpat, which we're going to see in this week's parsha, called Shemitah.
Yeah.
Shemitah, there's a 6-year cycle where you work the land for 6 years, and in the 7th year you leave the land barren, free. Then another 6-year cycle in the 7th year, until the 50th year, called Yovel. Another year that the land goes out for free. Another interesting part is that there's a famous Rashi in the beginning of Parshas Bahar that says that Hashem spoke to Moshe Bahar Sinai Lemar, and then it says the laws of Shemitah. In fact, Rashi asks, Ma'inin Shemitah Eitzel Har Sinai. What does Shemitah have to do with Har Sinai? So Rashi says just like Shemitah was given in Har Sinai. So all the different pratim and the kolim were all given in Har Sinai. What's the connection? We see that Shemitah also, let's try to understand this, but Shemitah Eitzel Har Sinai, that means Shemitah and the Aseret HaDibros that were given in Har Sinai is all in the same. Very likely, as the first mitzvah that's mentioned Bahar Sinai Leimar, Shemitah, is opposite Anochi Hashem Elokecha. So how do you explain that? Shemitah, Eved Ivri, Anochi Hashem Elokecha. What's the connection between the three? In Or Gedalyahu, Rav Shor explains that the idea of Eved Ivri reveals to us a very special concept, a very special aspect of our relationship with Hashem. And that is that no matter where we are, no matter how, quote-unquote, low a person can become, you will always have Hashem inside of you. We will always have the Anochi Hashem Elokecha. When we stood there in Har Sinai and we got the Aseret Dibros, Hashem implanted in us Anochi Hashem Elokecha. That means that's our neshama. We're special. We have this spark called Anochi Hashem Elokecha. Asher Otzicha Meretz Mitzrayim. It's with us when we're in Egypt, when we're amongst all the tumah, and eventually it'll take us out. We'll never part from it. It'll always be inside of us, and it'll eventually we'll be able to connect with it in a bigger way. The Eved Ivri, he had to sell himself. He stole, he had to sell himself. He did Averos. Now he becomes a servant, a slave. You can imagine. Even when a person is a slave and he's working for a master, he still, even at the lowest level, he has the godliness inside of him. That godliness is represented by the number 7. The Maral explains that this world is represented by a 6-dimensional plane. Right? There's right, left, forward, back, and up and down. There's nothing more than that. It's we're inside a cube, right? There's nothing more than that. That's this world. The physical existence of this world is the parameters of this world: up, down, right, left, front, back. 6. Number 7 is something that's beyond this world. Number 7. That's the idea, that's the idea, he explains, of Shabbos. 6 days a week, 6 days of the week we're going to work, and we're going to finish all our work. Also in this week's parasha, on the 7th day is Shabbos. Because in the 6 days of the week we're confined within this world. But on the 7th day of the week we escape. And we have an opportunity to relate the Anochi Hashem Elokecha, the godliness inside of us in our Neshama Torah. And that's the idea of the Eved Ivri. Yeah, you can work for 6 years. But eventually, inevitably, the Ashriyas is going to come the 7th year. Teitzei l'chavshi chinam. You're going to go out free. You're never going to lose that pnimis, that inner Anochi Hashem Elokecha that remains inside of us always. Even if you go down to the depths of the depths, you'll always have that. You'll eventually be able to break out free. There's another point here. What happens if the Eved Ivri doesn't want to go out after 6 years? What does he say? Ahavti es ishti v'esbanai lo yetzi chavshi. I love my wife. I love my children. I don't want to go out. I love my lifestyle. I love the physical world. I prefer it. I don't want to go out free. Now he's making a big mistake. How do we know he's making a big mistake? Because these people are not his wife and his children. In the pasuk before, just finished saying, Ha'isha v'yiladea tiyeh ladoneha.
Yeah.
They don't belong to you. When you go out in seventh year, they're not your wife and children. They belong to
The master.
the master.
If they are slaves, they won't go free also.
They're Canaanites.
Ah.
It's a Canaanite woman. He's not giving you a Jewish woman. He's giving you a Canaanite woman.
Right.
She can't go free unless she gets a freedom document.
So he's making a big mistake, isn't he? But that's what this world is. It's true. The reality is that these are not his wife and his children. It's a complete illusion that he's making. He's making a big mistake. But he thinks that that's what this world is. He thinks this is my wife and my children. So I can't leave. I can't go. I can't go beyond it. He doesn't realize that it's just a facade. They don't belong to him at all. And we all make that mistake in this world. The Ishbitzer says a very similar word in the Gemara in Avodah Zarah. The Gemara in Avodah Zarah 54b says, if a person steals a bucket of seeds, of wheat seeds, and he wants to go and plant them, and he plants them in the ground. So the reality is that they shouldn't grow. He stole them after all. Those seeds should not grow. Why would Hashem make them grow? Olam kimin hago noeg. What are you going to do? The world turns round and round. That's the way of the world. It turns round and round. The Ishbitzer explains, the reality, the truth is that those seeds can't grow. You stole them. The land would never allow such seeds to grow. Olam kimin hago noheg, but the world goes round and round and round, and gives you the appearance that those seeds are actually growing. It's a mashal. It's a dimyan, imagination. The seeds are growing, because the world's spinning. I've heard of somebody. It was a multi-millionaire, millions of dollars he had. He was a young guy, a smart yeshiva guy, and he started, investing a little bit at the right time. He put his money here, he put his money there. After a while, $1 million, a couple million, 3, 4 million. One day, he made the wrong move, and the market collapsed.
Gone.
It's all gone. This person, if we look at it, we'll ask ourselves the question. Yesterday he was a multi-millionaire. Today he has nothing, right? What made him a multi-millionaire yesterday? Well, yeah, but what made him a multi-millionaire? How did he know he was a multi-millionaire?
It appeared like he had money.
Because in his account, it's
money.
When he opened the computer and he logged on, it said 10 million. And how did he know he's poor today? How does he know he has nothing?
Because he logged into the account.
He logged into the computer.
FS.
He never even had $1 in his wallet.
Nothing.
Never once did he have $1 in his wallet.
He had virtual money.
Yeah.
The money appeared, and then it went away.
Easy come, easy go.
Easy come and go. And today it's easier for us to understand it. But I saw this exact parable in a sefer that's at least 100 years old. I forgot exactly the name of the sefer about bitachon. But he says, you have the money, it's here today. Even they were talking about physical money, right? It represents something. What does it represent? Wealth. What in that piece of paper represents?
It's a banknote.
It's a banknote that represents that if I want, I could put my card in, and I might be able to get something and then buy something else.
But what does it represent? What does the money even represent? The money represents what the gold reserves are in the bank of that country.
Right.
That's what they print the bills on.
Right.
So it's all an illusion. It's all an
illusion. money in, money out, easy come, easy go. You could work for a living and never see a dollar bill anymore.
What's direct deposit now right into your account?
It goes in, goes out. It goes in, it goes out.
A guy got the bank gave him $100,000 by mistake. They're supposed to give him 10, and I don't know exact numbers.
Yeah,
and he said, "It's mine." They gave it to me. It was mine. And then finally they said, "No, it's not. Never was.
Never was.
You got to pay it back."
But that's what this world is. So let's take out the money factor for a second. So I have my bills, and I got my salary, right? So forget about money. Let's say I don't work for any money, I work for free, and somebody else covers my bills. That's really that's the reality.
Yeah.
I work because I don't know why, but
You want to keep the kashrut standard.
oh, that's why I work.
Yes.
But a person works because he works. He's not working for money. Nobody's going to pay him. He has to buy food. So somebody buys food for him. It's not me. It's not you. It's Hashem. Hashem determines how much you're going to earn. He determines how much you're going to have to spend, and it's all one. It's all the same. You spend, you earn. You spend, you earn. You spend, you earn. You spend, you earn. You never see money. You don't know. You work, and somehow the bills get paid. That's how it goes. This world is just a dimyan. It's just an image. This Eved, he has a wife and children, he wants to stay, he wants to have... He should go free. He should go back to his original life. He should serve Hashem in the maximum way that he can. And not get sidetracked the mirages of this world. Shemitah is really the same idea. Just as it relates to the land. Work. 6 years. In the 7th year you can't touch me. You can't touch me because I belong to Hashem. Ochi Hashem Elokecha. That always remains. But even the Eved Ivri that says and gets caught up in the world, he can never lose it completely. There will always be the 50th level.
The oval.
What's the 50th level? In the Svarim it says the 50th level is the level of Anochi Hashem Elokecha. Because the 50th level is the level of above this world, right? And this world has 49 levels. The 50th level is the level that's elevated above the world, which is a world that we can see clearly, which is completely Anochi Hashem Elokecha. These are the ideas of Eved Ivri. This is how we must connect with the Rabbanu Shalom. We must realize that this world, we work all week. We work 6 years of the 7. But we should never get lost. We should always realize that there's that Hanochi Hashem Elokecha inside of us. Don't get lost with the images and the mirages of this world. A beautiful, beautiful shtickle coming from Tzvi Shimshon. Has to do with doctors.
What page?
Hashem should give me only siyata d'shmaya to be able to explain this in the way that He wants me to explain this, because this is deep.
This is what
So all you doctors listen to this, and even non-doctors. It's unbelievable. Virapo yirape. We have another law, and it's called Virapo yirape, and you shall surely heal. Rashi, Mikan shenitan rishus lirofe lirapos. Here is where the rofe, the doctor, was given permission to heal. So if not for this pasuk, the doctor would not be allowed to heal.
Exactly.
You would not be able to be a doctor. So most people think of this as, why wouldn't you be able to become a doctor? Why wouldn't you be able to heal? Why would that be against the principles of the Torah?
Because Hashem has given you the illness.
Exactly. Because what?
Hashem is giving this guy the illness. Why are you taking it away from him?
Right. If Hashem wants him to be ill, he'll be ill.
Tikkun.
And the other way around as well. Hashem
wants him to be
the
healed.
person trying to b'tachan. Rely on Hashem to heal you. Why do you need to have a doctor involved?
Physician.
Yeah. What good are they?
You can retire and learn Gemara the whole day. Great.
But the Torah said otherwise.
Okay.
Barapa Yirak. But that's not really what it means.
No.
The Ramban in Torah Sa'adam, which is a sefer it's about Avelos, and before it gets into Avelos, the first laws are the laws of doctors, and then Bikra Cholim and stuff like that. So the Ramban in Torah Sa'adam in this sefer says, the reason why the Torah had to say V'rape Yirape and give him permission is as follows. Because the doctor's going to say, what do I need this for? I'm going to make a small mistake, and I'm going to end up killing somebody. Therefore, the Torah had to give him permission to do it. Don't worry. Yes, that might happen. You might make a small mistake and end up killing somebody, but you do it anyway. V'rape Yirape. Do your best. You know any doctors who think that way?
No.
I don't. Well, Rav Moshe Rafal.
You never know.
You might make a mistake and kill someone.
I hope not.
You know any people who think that way?
I think when you're just starting out, and you're in an intense field like neurosurgery or cardiovascular surgery, you feel like that. When you're just starting out as a resident, you really feel that.
But after you get a little
you're
bit
a veteran.
more...
It's like when you're driving a car, your first time out, you're going to crash and do this. Now you're driving for 5-6 years. It's like, I'm fine.
No problem. I'm good. I don't need
problems.
I'm good. Right?
Cruise control.
So Shamshon Pickett asks, it's possible the doctors say they're going to make a mistake. Torah needed to give them permission to make them feel good about it. So he says, a brilliant chiddush. He says, and this is a mashal, but just like we understand the concept that a rabbi gets smicha, right? A rabbi gets smicha. 277. A rabbi gets smicha. Why does a rabbi need to have smicha? Because the halachos are not exactly defined, and he needs to, somebody needs to see that he's learned them properly, and that he knows how to apply them well, and that he can decide within the halachos how to go. Similar to that is the application of other chachmas, of other, I won't say professions, but let's say medicine as our example. Hashem gave a person permission to define the chachma, to define the medicine. What does that mean? How does a person define the medical truth, so to speak? Again, just as a rabbi decides within halacha, which we can relate to a little bit more, similarly a doctor, havdil, but similarly a doctor can decide a medical truth. Something's not clear, right? Maybe the doctors are nodding their heads here. Right? Not so clear. How does this theory apply to that person? Will it work? Will it work? I think this is going to work. Let's go for it. Do it. It works. Right? That's a decision. Now it's set. Now it's scientific. Right? Is that how it works?
Somewhat.
Somewhat. What?
Second opinions.
Well, you have a differential diagnosis, you do your physical exam, you do the lab tests, you come up with
You do your research, and then you decide.
Yeah, you come up with a conclusion.
And you go with it.
Yeah, and you begin a treatment sort of course, treatment plan.
Most people think that science means how many stars are there in the sky, and like things which are a little bit more defined, like how many stars exist in the sky, right? So what's the answer to that question?
Infinite.
Well, that's not the exact answer. What's the real answer to how many stars exist in the sky?
A lot.
That's not the right answer.
How many gods? One.
Exactly. That's exactly the answer.
How many Hashem?
However many Hashem created, that's how many exist, right? That's the exact right answer. So, again, let's review. Understanding science is not knowing how many stars there are. It's understanding that the amount of stars there are is however many Hashem created. Since Hashem is Molei Kol Haaretz Kivod, He's the one who created the world, He's the one who created science. And therefore, how should this person be treated? However Hashem wants him to be treated.
Yeah.
Right? Now let me study how Hashem wants him to be treated. So I'll do this test, that test, and I'll try to tap myself in. I'll try to connect myself with this chachma called refuah, medicine, which, while I do so, I will try my best to understand what it is Hashem wants me to do with this person. Good?
Mm-hmm.
Good so far?
Right.
Now, if a doctor thinks that way, then he has the power. He can choose a path, a decision. He can make a decision, and he'll say like this: Hashem, I did my best. I'm only trying to do your ratzon here. If it works, then your ratzon is that it should work. And if it doesn't work, then your ratzon is that it shouldn't work. And I'm off the hook. Because even if the fellow doesn't make it, but that was your ratzon. That's what you wanted. It's not my responsibility. I did what I thought you wanted me to do. And it was what you wanted me to do. It didn't necessarily work, but that's what you wanted me to do. That's the proper approach to science and medicine. And therefore, v'rapo yirape. A doctor has the permission to heal. But if a person says no, doesn't connect the science to the Rabbanu Shalom, doesn't say that my actions here are I'm trying to fulfill the Ratzon Hashem, but rather I decide what goes. I'm not afraid of making mistakes, right? I'm gonna make a mistake? Me? Nah. Sound familiar?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Then he's on the hook, isn't he? Because if you decide and you're wrong, so you're responsible.
That's right.
And yeah, specifically, we learned v'rapo yirape, that Hashem gave permission to doctors to heal, which means that in their analysis of a patient's need, they're directly examining Ratzon Hashem. That's v'rapo yirape. Don't worry. You think you might make a mistake and chas v'shalom kill someone? You're only trying to do Ratzon Hashem. It can't be negligence, but you're only trying to do Ratzon Hashem. And whatever you do is Ratzon Hashem. If you win, you win, and if
you lose, you lose.
You lose, you win.
Well, you
because
win.
That's what Ratzon Hashem was.
If you lose, you die.
Hashem what? Everybody has a set amount of time.
What are you gonna do?
But this applies to all of us. doctors, non-doctors alike, in our daily profession, in our daily business, in our daily life, and whatever we're doing, daily decisions, anything. If each decision, each mathematical equation that we study, each chemical that we decide to use is, what does Hashem want me to do in this situation? I'm studying what is Ratzon Hashem here. Then I'm hooked in, plugged in. If I succeed, great. If I don't, I'm still succeeding. That's Ratzon Hashem. But if not, if I'm on my own, I'm studying my own, I'm doing my own thing. Kochi v'yotzem yadi. It's my own strength in my own hands that allows me to be successful. Then, good luck to you. As long as you're successful, you're successful. But the second you're not successful anymore, not going to be anyone to bail you out. We have to realize that everything we do has to be a study in Ratzon Hashem. What does Hashem want? That's the lesson from V'rapa Yirape. And I'm going to tell you one more verse which I say every year. Beautiful, beautiful verse. For Moshe Rafal, you've heard it probably 6 or 7
it's
times.
The great. Are you talking about this Shomer Sacher? It's really good.
This is a great verse.
I love it.
It's a Sfas Emes. There's 4 Shomrim that are described in this parsha. There's the Shomer Chinam. The person, what is a Shomer? He's watching somebody else's object. So there's a person who watches somebody else's objects for free. Please, do you mind? I am going to be back in a day. Please watch this suitcase with $100,000 inside of it. Just totally
For free.
For free. So he's doing you a favor by watching it, and therefore his responsibility is
Minimal.
He's responsible, he can't be negligent with that suitcase. But if it gets lost or stolen, he's exempted.
If there's an accident.
If there's an accident, certainly exempted. Then there's the Shomer Sacher, the guy who you pay in order to watch your stuff. Or the Socher, which means he's renting it from you. He's actually using it. So there is a little benefit in that guy who has your object. So he has a little bit more responsibility. Not only is he obligated for negligence, he's also obligated for Geneva Va'aveda, which means if it gets stolen or lost.
Who does?
This Shomer Sacher or Socher, which is the person who takes money to watch, or the renter. He's obligated if it gets stolen.
Correct.
And then there's the Shoel. He's a borrower. I borrow your phone. So I get to use your phone and I don't have to pay for it.
That's the best.
So Kol Hana Shalo, he has all of the benefit in this relationship.
No payment.
He doesn't have to
Do anything.
Pay a penny.
He doesn't have to do anything. He gets it for free. He doesn't have to pay for it, and he enjoys it. So his level of responsibility is defined in the Torah as much greater. His level of responsibility is even for einsim, even for accidents that happen.
Unavoidable.
If an accident happens to the camera that you're borrowing, you're responsible for paying. There's only 2 exemptions. One's called Mesa Machmas Malacha, which means that
when you're doing the work.
It broke in its normal
Fashion.
Fashion of work. Right.
So
So
an
let's
ox
say you
died
borrowed
when
an
you're
old ox and he dies
Plowing the field.
So oxen die when they plow the field after they get to a certain age.
Right. That's right.
Maybe you borrowed Rav Moshe Rafal's Olympus recorder. And the screen blew or something like that. It died, It died. What are you going to do? But there's another exemption in the Classic. And this is the one we want to talk about.
There's a key. That's good.
The Torah says, If a person borrows an object from his friends, and it broke or he dies, Ba'alav ein imo shalem yishalem. If the owner is not, literally means if the owner is not with you, then you got to pay for it. V'im ba'alav imo lo yishalem. But if the owner is with you, you don't have to pay. Im sachar hu ba'b'schar. If the owner is with you, you don't have to pay. What does the owner with you mean? It means that there's some sort of relationship between you and the owner. Let's say you're an employee of the person you're borrowing the camera from. I'm an employee. I don't have to pay because there's a relationship between me and there's a pre-existing relationship between me and the person who's lending the object.
It shouldn't be more responsibility.
Yeah, it should be. So why is it like this? Clear as a cost. There's no reason. That's what the Zohar said.
It's a decree because of the pasuk.
That's what it is. Says the Sasanas. When a human being comes down to the world, he gets a neshama, a soul.
He doesn't pay.
Hashem gives you a soul. V'kol hana shelo. Now you, as a human being with a soul, you can enjoy yourself. You can enjoy that soul. You can enjoy it spiritually. You can enjoy it physically. You don't have to pay for it.
We are borrowing.
We're borrowing it from Hashem. But just like every borrower, or most people who actually give things back, there's a time where you have to return the thing that you borrowed.
With the banks and everything.
After 120 years, you gotta give it back.
The dents, the scrapes.
Now imagine if you owned
the dings and parking.
All the bad use.
the brand new 2011 Porsche 911.
You mean Carrera turbo?
Carrera, whatever, turbo with dual,
Right?
with dual double.
Red. No, that's a little guy with the he black. We'll take black.
Yeah, you own that. You own that. And you know, I came to you and I said,
320.
listen, come on, we have a class every year, every week. You know me, I drive, I'm so careful. Can I take that in a spin?
I gotta get there quickly.
And you take the car out for the spin.
No.
Spin.
And you spin and boom. Crash.
It hurts.
Dent. Scratch. And now you gotta bring it back. And you're driving back, chug, 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 and the front guard is falling off and the engine is slowly coming to a standstill, and the guy's looking at his car. My car! My car! And you know, after 120 years, when we return that neshama to the Rebbeinu Shalom,
It's going to be like that.
I enjoy my car! What did you do to it? You scratched it, you dented it, you blackened it. What did you do here?
Schmitzig. It's all schmitzig.
And you know what you're going to say? I was a human being. You know, I couldn't control myself. It was an accident. Hashem says, accident?
Pay up.
A borrower has to pay for the accidents. You got to pay up.
Everything.
Says the Sas Emes. There's one exemption. If ein balav imo, if there's no relationship, if there's no connection, if there's no anochi Hashem Elokecha inside of you, yeah, you made mistakes, yeah, you blemished it. If you don't have that connection, shalom, you're gonna have to pay. But in balav imo, if you have that, and you got the car mechanic right inside of you. You got that design specialist who can poke that dent back out until it's completely like new again.
Dr.
In the rush.
Dr. Dent.
Tshuva. It's called.
Orlando.
You have a relationship with the Rabbanu Shalom, lo yishal. You won't have to pay. That's the lesson of this week's parsha.